So in this video, we're going to look at how we generate the regression output that we can use the value to do the diagnostics or examine our 5 assumptions we learned in this class. So first of all, download the data and click the tab Q1. So now look at this data set. And so we are looking at what are going to affect the GPA. So we have age. And so 3 dummy variable, freshman, sophomore, and junior. And so this is the same case we worked on in the previous computer skill. But for this video, we're going to focus on how we need to select in order to get all the value we need to do the assumption to do the diagnostics. And especially after watching this video, you'll be able to learn how to examine the first assumption, the linear relationship. So first, you're going to click the data tab. So after you click the data tab, make sure you have the data analysis. If you don't have it, please watch the second computer skill. You'll be able to learn how to get the data analysis to your Excel. So first, click the data analysis. And then we're going to choose regression. So after you select regression, and then you click OK. So basically, it's the same thing we learned from the multiple linear regression model, except later we're going to check different box. So first, for the input range will be my GPA. So my X range will be age and all the class standings. And then don't forget check labels. And then here is the difference from what we learned before. In order to do the diagnostics, make sure you're going to check residuals. So that's going to give you the value of the residuals. And then you're going to check standardized residual if you want to figure out if you have outlier in your data set, and you can select the standardized residual. And then check line fit plot. So that one going to give you the scatter plot with the fit line. So that is the one we're going to use to test out our first assumption. And then the normal probability plot. So the only thing we left over is the residual plot. So please 100% sure don't check that box. So the name is very confusing because we did learn a plot in the slides that are called residual plot, but that's not the one we're going to use. We're actually going to generate our own residual plot. So therefore, don't check that box so that you're going to create the misleading chart. So don't forget every chart. So which means on the bottom we have 5 boxes. You check everything except residual plot. Now you can click OK. So this is our result. So we don't need to worry about number side because here we are learning how to do the diagnostics. So in this video, we're going to look at how to test out assumption 1. So assumption 1 is X and Y have linear relationship. So the chart we're going to use is called the line fit plot. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we have 4 line fit plot, right? So I have 4 line fit plot. So which one should we use? So if the variable is not dummy variable, instead is a quantitative variable such as age, so that line fit plot will be very useful to help us to understand if X and Y have a linear relationship. However, if the X is a dummy variable, so you don't need to use them. So because they don't give you enough information about the linear relationship. The main reason is because dummy variable only can take 2 values, 0 and 1. 0 and 1. That's why you see X3, X2, X3, X4's line fit plot looks very odd because they are dummy variable. However, if you have more than one quantitative variable, such as, for instance, like you have age and how many hours you sleep per day, so then you're actually going to have 2 valid line fit plot you're going to analyze if the first assumption is valid or not. So let's just delete the freshman, sophomore, and a junior because they are not used for. So the only one we're going to use is age. So this scatter plot, look at, so the vertical axis is my y variable and the horizontal axis is my age. So first of all, in order to understand if my assumption violated, we have to delete orange dot and then select the blue dot, right click the mouse and add trend line. So why we need this one? Because we want to look at if the scatter we see here is follow the 3 criteria we learned on the slides. So if you haven't watched the video about the lecturing about the testing assumption 1, you should watch it before you watch this one. And so the healthy pattern we're looking for has to meet the 3 criterion. So the first one, the scatter is not scattered too far from the first one is no curvature, and then second one, the line is evenly distributed around the trend line, and the third one is the scatter is not too far away from trend line. So if you look at this chart, is any of the 3 pattern, any of those 3 patterns are violated? So the answer is yes. So obviously you cannot see curvature, but you can notice that the scatter is not evenly distributed around a straight line. Therefore, the first assumption is violated. So when you work on your homework and also your final exams, so your homework and the final exam, so no matter you tell me violated or not violated, and so your reasoning is really important. So if the question worth 5 points, so even you give the right answer about violation or not violation, if your reason is wrong, you're still gonna lose 3 points because the reasoning is more important than your conclusion. So therefore, in order to know how to explain the reason why it is violated or why it's not, you have to remember the pattern we list on the slides. So what are the healthy pattern you're looking for each assumption? So that's the end of this video. And next video, we're gonna look at how to test out the second assumption.